Welcome to Life, Lessons, and Laughter with your host, Glenn Ambrose.
Yeah, I forgot to put myself up on the screen the last couple times. Anywho, welcome to the show. So today I kind of wanted to talk about this perspective that I found it interesting because I was gaining some solace, some comfort in this mentality that just kind of popped up in my head. And what I mean by that is I was gaining some, feeling some comfort from it just because. All right, how am I going to explain this? Well, I guess what I'm going to do is just kind of tell you guys a little bit about what's been transpiring in my life lately. That way you guys can understand what I'm talking about, because just throwing it out there doesn't really make sense. So I've been going through some big changes, a lot of inner self work, and which is beautiful timing for my land project coming out. You know, I've mentioned before that I'm doing a lot of inner work that's manifesting into the external circumstances. So, you know, the external work pales in comparison to the internal work. So I'm doing a lot of internal work, and with that comes times where you're feeling, experiencing a certain level of suffering. But the reason I want to explain this first is because my suffering these days is dramatically different than my suffering before. And I wanted to make that distinction. So my suffering before, I would kind of get wrapped up in it. You know, it would kind of pull me down into it. And it would, you know, it could incite a period of depression that I went through. It could incite tremendous suffering in different ways. I guess not as tremendous as I had gone through earlier in my life, but you know, some difficult moments. Whereas now, and it's not that I'm never going to go through one of those periods. I don't know, you know, with tremendous suffering. But now the suffering is more, I can kind of keep my distance between me and it. So I know that I'm going through something, and I know that I'm experiencing some emotions and some sensations, and possibly some thoughts that I don't enjoy or don't feel good. But there's a bit of a space between me and them, so I don't get so immersed in it and climb into it and actually experience this full-blown depression or anything. So yeah, you know, it's like I feel all this angst and emotional suffering inside, but yet there's still an awareness that this is just something I'm going through. It's not permanent. It's not the end of the world. It's just something I need to work through, which makes it a lot more manageable. So I just wanted to explain that, because, you know, I was about to say, well, I was experiencing suffering, and it's like, well, you know, there's different levels of suffering, man. I have been, you know, curled up on the floor in a fetal position with my heart aching so much that I couldn't even breathe. and it felt like my chest had turned to stone and it was crumbling inside of me or something. Like, and thank God I ain't there now. But I've experienced that, and I didn't want to give the impression that it was suffering like that. It ain't fun. And I'm feeling it, but there's also this level of awareness that, okay, let's dive into this and go through. So it was that kind of suffering. So I was having that kind of suffering, and this concept popped into my head, and I had heard it before, thought of it before, but it just stopped me for a moment. And the concept is that, Glenn, you chose this. You chose this journey you're on here. You chose this earth. You chose this incarnation. And not only did you choose it, but you chose it from a higher level of consciousness than you are at now. When you chose to incarnate here on earth and go through this evolution school, you were on the other side. You had full knowledge of your soul, yourself, the types of experiences you were going to have on earth. I mean, the belief systems vary around this, but I probably structured many of the experiences that I've been through, especially the ones that were the most difficult, because those are the ones that incite the most growth, and that's what I'm here for. So it was just, so I just kind of, like I said, I had heard this intellectually before. I had even contemplated it conceptually before, but for some reason it just dropped in out of nowhere. I hadn't thought about it in a long time. And it just was giving me a tremendous sense of comfort, because it reminded me that, like, I have a very small perspective here on earth, just like, as we all do. And it's very easy when we're going through something difficult to what our brain does is it zooms in and focuses on that. And it's kind of all we can see is just the difficulty, right? And to help navigate that, it's beneficial to take a step back and zoom out and put it back into perspective and go, okay, maybe, whatever the particular problem is at the moment, that doesn't encapsulate my whole experience here on earth. Like, whatever I'm going through, I can go through it and come out the other side. I mean, let's look at the past, what I've been through already. If I can go through all that, I sure as heck can go through whatever's in front of me. So, and when your mind's kind of in that negative headspace, it kind of does the opposite. Well, not kinda, it does do the opposite. It goes, oh, well, I experienced this in the past, suffering in the past. Now I'm experiencing suffering again. So that means I'm going to experience suffering in the future. And it's like, well, yeah, you probably will experience more suffering. There is no life free of suffering here on earth. It's just, but what are you going to do about it? Are you going to use it to grow and expand and work through and get better at it, and maybe learn to do what I was saying earlier, put some space in between you and it so it doesn't totally take you over, and you get better at going through these things? Like I posted a picture on social media the other day that was, a lot of people think Zen, they were using the term Zen. They said, a lot of people think Zen looks like this, and it was just this dude peacefully meditating with this beautiful waterfall behind him and nature, and it's just, blissful. And he said, but Zen really looks like this, and it had that same guy meditating in another picture with just fire all around him. and he was completely at peace. And it's like, it's not that we're going to be in fire all the time, but anybody can be anybody can squat down and meditate in the middle of nature with nothing wrong and be at complete peace. I mean, it's almost hard not to some degree. But unless you're in the middle of going through something, of course. But so that's not spirituality. That's not growth. That's not like, wow, like you can be peaceful when everything's going your way. You must be really evolved. No, it's can you stay at peace in the center of the storm? That's growth. That's expansion, because we could be at peace when everything was going our way when we were 3. So now I'm 57. Like there should be some sort of growth. Like, well, I'm still good. I'm still good when everything's going my way, like I was when I was 3. But whenever anything goes the way that I don't like it, I throw a fit and spiral into a depression, just like when I was 3. Okay, well, then you're not really growing. You're not, you might be going through the suffering, but you're not using the suffering to grow. You're not expanding. You're not becoming a better version of yourself. You're not becoming more capable of hanging on to that peace, even in difficult situations, right? So it's this evolution that we're aiming for. But I digress. Back to the topic, where we were, and this is the stuff I like to contemplate. Just take that concept and just go expand on it, like contemplate it. So I go, okay, what does that mean? Oh, I chose this. Oh, I was on the other side and I chose this. Oh, okay. Like that doesn't really do anything. We have to contemplate it, take it deeper. What does that mean? Expand our comprehension, our imagination around that concept. So I picture myself sitting on the other side in complete bliss, fully connected to my entire soul, knowing that I'm eternal, knowing that I am connected to source, knowing that I am love energy. And I'm sitting up there and I'm going, what do I want to do next? What do I want to do? Like, because I can do anything. I'm just an expression of love, of God. So what do I want to do? Oh, I want to evolve more. There's this inner urge for me to evolve my consciousness and become more of myself. And just contemplating that, I get filled with love, right? Now, this is all imagination while I'm on the other side, and I can feel some of it in my heart, of course, but I'm imagining this and I'm like, oh, wow, like, oh, I just want to be more of myself and more love and express that love in new, profound ways. And that the universe is my oyster. I can do anything. What do I want to do? And then I look down at Earth and I'm like, oh my God, like there's so much duality down there. And this time in human history, there's actually a shift occurring in consciousness. And wow, what an amazing way to up level. And I understand that I fall asleep down there and I forget that I'm eternal and I'm love and all this stuff. And then I have to work through that and I have to get to the place where I remember it and use that remembrance to expand myself. And wow, like, oh, so I'll go through this period where I'm an alcoholic. Might even last 20 years if I'm stubborn enough, if I've really fallen asleep. But whatever, I'm eternal. 20 years is the blip in eternity. It's not, contemplate it. Like you guys can do this. Contemplate it from your perspective now and use it to, use your imagination to connect with what's, what you could have possibly have been thinking when you were over there. I did a mini version of this in 5 minutes, and I started feeling this comfort. So I'm diving into it a little bit more deeply now. But I have contemplated it before. And it's like, wow, let's go down there, and it's just a little while. So then I want to kind of relate, like, how do I relate to what that would feel like if I was actually on the other side saying that? How could I relate that to a human experience that I've had? And it's like, well, school is 12 years. That's kind of a long time. It's not exactly what I was looking for, but let's play around with it a little bit. It's contemplation. We can do that. So it's like, oh, okay. So, school was difficult for me, and in a lot of ways, traumatic, which I've don't use that word lightly, but over the last 3 years, I've really seen how much it played a part. It was tremendous suffering when I was a kid, like to my core, because it was every day being told that I was bad and not good enough every day, and yelled at and looked at with disgust, and I wasn't a bad kid. I couldn't sit still. So it's just, but it drove the teachers crazy because it disrupted their class. And, so just walking down the hall and having people look at you like you're a pain in the ass, that's hard to deal with on a daily basis and cause tremendous suffering. But when I'm on the other side, I'm looking down at that and I'm going, yeah, you'll experience this, and it's going, for my soul to evolve, for my consciousness to evolve, I need to be able to learn how to stand in that and not lose myself. I need to be able to go through the most extreme conditions where people are just, where it's coming at you from all sides and trying to break your will, trying to break your spirit, and just being able to hang on to a piece of it, even though, like, as a child, you're powerless, right? Like the adults, they can do whatever they want to you. It's almost, it's almost like in the past, like I've had past life regressions and stuff like this, and like, so I zoomed back, and of course I don't understand the full experience, but back when there's a caste system, there's places on earth that it's still like this, where people, where there's slaves, okay, like that's one aspect, and then not just slaves, but also a caste system where the higher ups can do whatever they want to you. They can hurt you, they can pull you away from your family, they can kill your family, they can kill you, and this is like that much control over you. Of course, my life wasn't like that this time around. It was like that in past lives, but in this time around, adults, when you're a child, adults can do whatever they want to you. They can make you stay in your room all day. They can, just punish you in all sorts of ways if you don't do what they say to do, right? So that was a similarity. Not that I'm saying I was a slave in this lifetime or anything even close. I'm just saying emotionally, there is a similarity there when you are a kid and everyone around you is trying to break your will, trying to get you to fit into a box that you don't fit in, and constantly telling you're bad because you don't. It's difficult not to eventually just drink the Kool-Aid and say, okay, I'll do it. And I tried to, but on a soul level, I wouldn't allow myself to. I would not allow myself to forget my truth. And it caused a tremendous amount of suffering. But it was necessary for me to go through that and not lose my will. And I went through stages. So in the beginning, I tried to become who they wanted me to become. And I couldn't. I was literally physically incapable of sitting still in a class for 6 hours a day or whatever. So like I couldn't do that. So then when I was around 7th, 8th grade, I just went, okay, I'm bad. Now I accepted I was bad on a surface conscious level, but I never accepted that on a soul level because I knew better. Right. And then after I got sober, it was like, I went through these stages. It's like, well, let me see how many. Well, it was about, I guess, about, 13, 14 years of me going, oh, I want to be good. I want to be good. I want to be good. And then I decided, okay, screw it, I'm bad. And that was until I was 35 when I got sober. So it's more than 14 years, but what is that? 21 years or something. So like 20 years of thinking I was bad on a surface level, but knowing a difference deep down, and then waking up spiritually and finding that good that's inside of me and all this stuff. So that's my journey in a snapshot. So but what I was saying is I knew I was going to go through those periods, right? Maybe I didn't know exactly how long it was going to take me to wake up. I think I was stubborn. I think I was supposed to wake up earlier. I went through quite a bit and I just refused to wake up. And I just kind of resolved to this mentality that I was rocky and that life could knock me down as many times. And I just kept getting back up and just getting back up and just getting back up. And I thought that that's what life was like. So, and when I locked onto a belief system like that, it was really, I locked on hard, man. Like I believed it not only consciously, but subconsciously, probably not unconsciously, but I believed it on a very deep level. It was like earlier when I was like 18, I didn't think I could die. I was like, I was suffering so much that I thought God hated me and was going to keep, and I was like, if God really hates me, what would he do? And he's like, well, he's not going to let me off the hook by dying early. I'm going to be here suffering for many, many years, as long as I can. I'll probably live till I'm 100, and it's going to be horrible the whole time. That's what that's probably the worst thing. So that's probably what he's going to do to me. So I think, I actually believed this, and I used to go run out in traffic and do crazy things just to prove to people that I couldn't die. And I believed it so much that it actually worked. I like manifested things like the absence of my death. It was insane. So then, so when I adopted this Rocky mentality, just life knocks you down, get back up. Life knocks you down, get back up. I was just in that pattern, and I wasn't looking to change or grow or awaken or anything. I was just like, I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm just going to keep doing this. So that's when I had to be completely laid out and my legs taken out and basically pummeled into the ground until I couldn't get up anymore. And I was on the edge of death, and then have this orb of love called my son, Mateo, to pull me back out of that. I needed to be just pummeled because I wasn't waking up. So I think I was supposed to wake up earlier, and I just wasn't. And that was the messaging that I got when I finally did wake up. And I looked back on that period. That's what spirit, God, my soul was telling me. They were like, you weren't waking up. You were supposed to, but you were just too damn stubborn. You weren't going to wake up. So we had to get you to where you were either going to die or wake up. It was the only way. So I think that's what happened. I don't know if I wrote that when I was on the other side. Maybe I did. I don't know. I'm thinking we have free will. So my idea is that I probably laid out the experiences I mentioned earlier, up until I was 14, and then 14 to 35, and then finally waking up. Not necessarily those years, but just the experiences in themselves, where I was trying to be good, and then I accepted I was bad, and then I woke up. That was probably how things were going to go. And I may have even written in there alcoholism, so maybe I did have a vague plan, but I believe we have free will and we have choice. So it's my choice whether I'm going to awaken or not. So if I'm looking at that from above and I'm going, and I know all that, and I'm like, from the perspective up there, I'm going, oh, it's totally worth it. This is a blip in eternity. What's 20 years? What's 100 years down there? It's nothing. It's nothing. And the growth that I'm going to experience because of it, oh my God, it's so worth it. So it's kind of like, going to school. Well, I got to go to school 12 years, or I got to go to college. Maybe that's a better example. Like when somebody's thinking about going to college or any type of training for a particular job, right? Hopefully they're doing that because they like the job that they're being trained for, and they think that it's going to help them live a pleasurable experience here on earth. So they look at that college, and some people like school, some people don't. I'm going to go from my perspective. I don't. So I go, would I go through 4 years of training to have many, many, many years of being able to make a living in a way that brings me joy? Well, sure. It's a great trade-off, right? It's a great trade-off. Spend 4 or 5 years or something getting trained, and then you can work in that field doing something that you enjoy for the next 40, 50 years. That's a great trade-off, right? It's short-term decisions and actions supporting a long-term goal. That's beautiful. So, I take that and I'm like, I'm on the other side and I'm going, well, 100 years, it's nothing. Look at all the growth I'm going to get out of it. Look at all the joy. Look at the expansion. I'm going to be able, look at all the love that I'm going to be able to share as my soul advances. It's totally worth it. Knowing the suffering that I was going to go through. Like, that brings me comfort, because I'm going, because I don't think my perspective is better here than it was on the other side. I think my perspective was better on the other side. So which one would I trust? Right? This temporary, minute little perspective using 20% of my brain or something, like just minimal perspective from my minimal experiences. I don't even understand half the things that half the people on the planet have experienced here on Earth. I can't understand or comprehend eternity. So my perspective here while I'm here on Earth is so much smaller. And yes, I'm working to expand it, but I'm not going to get it to the level that it's at when I'm on the other side. That's a broad expansion. That is an expanded perception. That's an advanced perspective, right? So if I'm over there looking down at Earth and I'm going, whatever, man. Yeah, it's, it ain't going to be easy, but like, you can make it, and the benefits you're going to get out of it are going to far, far, far outweigh the negatives. So go. Yeah, I'm going, man. I'm definitely going. I was on the other side saying that. Looking down at Earth, going, abso-freaking-lutely, man. Let's do this. It was my free will. It was my free choice to come here. And when I look at life through that, then I go, okay, well, what, like, why? To go through the suffering? Of course not. I mean, is the suffering part of it? Yes, it's part of it. Is it going to expand me? Conceptually, yeah, it is if I use it to grow. Okay, cool. But is that it? Well, what about like that? That's looking at it, the kind of the negative side. We're looking at the suffering and we're going, okay, the suffering must be worth it. Otherwise, why choose to incarnate here? Good point. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. So the suffering's worth it. I get it. From a broader perspective, the suffering is worth it. Cool. But that's only one side of the picture, right? The other side of the picture is the non-suffering. We don't just come on earth suffering the whole time. It's duality. That means there's a good side too. The suffering is what we would deem as the negative side because it ain't fun. But there also is another side to life, and that's the beauty, that's the joy, that's the love we get to experience. I mean, look at this picture behind me. That's the view from my backyard. I mean, are you kidding me? The beauty on this earth, the rolling hills, the palm trees, the blue skies, the clouds, the sun, the moon, the stars, the nature, the colors of flower. The flowers have just bloomed right outside my kitchen window, and my whole house smells like these beautiful flowers. I mean, for the first half hour this morning when I woke up, that's all I could smell. I was just walking around, just, oh, thank you. That's so beautiful. That smell in my house. All the people that we love, you know, looking at your child and just going, I didn't even know this much love was possible, right? Your spouse, your family, your friends, all the good experiences you had, all the fun you had, rolling around in the grass when you were 6. You know, like all that stuff we've enjoyed, all the beauty on this planet. You know, there's so many things that I haven't done yet, you know, like my neighbor's going to Egypt today, I believe. I haven't been yet. Going to Egypt and riding a camel to go check out the pyramids. I'm so excited to do that. The safaris on the Serengeti, and you know, just seeing the animals all in their wild habitat and stuff, just free out in nature. Like, oh my God, I can't wait to experience that. And that's just a couple things, you know, like, and all the stuff that I have done, skydiving and hang gliding and jumping off waterfalls and all the, you know, like, I mean, just, it's endless. All the beauty and wonderful things that I've experienced. And there's so much more to go. Like, that's what brings me comfort, you know, and it's all because of this concept of reminding myself that I chose to be here. I chose this. From my broader, more wise perspective, I chose this. So why don't I live it like that more? Why don't I live it like I chose it? You know? Boy, that's a good catchphrase. Live it like you chose it. Because you did. You know, you didn't just trip and fall out of the other side and land on earth and go, oh, whoops. Last I knew, everything was good and I was going to go grab a beer and I tripped, and next thing you know, I'm incarnated in this earth. You know, no, we chose it. We've got free will. Free will is eternal. Because love is eternal, and love is free will is an aspect of love. So we chose to be here. So let's live it like we chose it. You know, let's look for the beauty. If it you know, this is why I kind of liken it to taking a vacation, because most people on vacation have a good time, right? There's some people that want to control everything and they just can't cut loose, and it's not fun going on vacation with those people. But like most people, when they're on vacation, they're like, they're seeing things they've never seen before, and they're like, oh my God, this is so cool, this is so beautiful. Oh wow, I can't believe there's places like this on earth, and this is so, and they don't have anything to do, so they're more relaxed, and they're like, oh wow, and then they might try something and be like, I didn't really like that much, but hey, I gave it a shot, right? Let's do something else. I'm gonna try this. Oh, that sounds like fun. Oh, I really like that. I might do that one again. Like, that's how we're supposed to be going through life. I'm not saying all the time. I'm not talking about this spiritual bypassing or whatever the hell people are calling it nowadays, not functioning from reality and denying. No, we're going to go through our suffering, and we're going to go through our periods of growth and duality and all that stuff. That's part of our journey, but it's only part of it. It's not all of it. The joy and the pleasure and taking in all the wonderful aspects of this life, that's the other part. And I think we forget that, I think we forget to live it like we chose it, and just be like, I chose to be here. Let's make the most of it. I love coming from this perspective, because it just, there's certain things that resonate with me. And I like the concept of just kind of sliding into death sideways, doing Mach 10 with my hair on fire. Going, woo, that was a hell of a ride. Get the most out of it, man. That's why I don't worry about like all the scars I have on my body and broken bones and stuff. Like, whatever, man. It's like, I'm going to hang up this meat suit used when I'm done. I'm not trying to be safe. I'm not spending all my energy trying to make sure that I never get hurt or nothing bad ever happens. Like, then you get to end of life, and what have you experienced? Like, what it like from that broader perspective, do you think that you were like, oh my God, there's so much danger down there, I'm gonna do everything that I can to never break a bone or never get any stitches, and then if I make it through 100 years without any broken bones or any stitches, then I'm gonna die happy, and I'll when I get back on the other side, I'm gonna be like, nicely done. No, I don't think so. I don't think that was the concept that we had on the other side. I'm not trying to get hurt. I don't enjoy getting hurt. But if I do in the process of having some fun, so be it. Like, I actually think I take calculated steps to not get hurt. Other people think I'm crazy. I don't know why. I just don't. I don't see it as crazy. I see it as living without fear. Trying to control every aspect, So yeah, that's the concept. And let me see if there was one other way that I wanted to come at this, or if I covered it already. Well, I think it was about taking comfort in it. Well, yeah, I think I covered both ways, because when I was first starting the podcast, I saw it in two ways. And the first way I saw it was taking comfort when you're going through a difficult time. Right. So that was when I was talking about going, like, when we're going through suffering, going, hey, wait a minute, I chose to be here. I knew I was going to be going through this type of suffering and learning these types of lessons. And I chose to come down here because from a broader perspective, I knew that it was worthwhile and it was worth doing, and I was going to benefit from it. So why don't I embrace and grow through this stuff instead of just sitting there going, oh my God, I'm suffering. This hurts so much. Oh, I hate this. Oh, this is so horrible. I'm suffering. I hate this. Like, just, oh, I suffered before and now I'm going to suffer again. Oh my God, I hate this. Like, you're not looking for the lesson when you're in that energy. You're not looking to expand. You're not growing through it. You know, I did a podcast a little while ago. If you have to go through it, you might as well grow through it, right? So, like, if you're going through all this suffering and you're not growing, you're actually creating more suffering in the future, because the suffering is there for you to grow, for you to transcend it, for you to expand so it doesn't hurt so much. And if you're just allowing yourself to hurt and suffer, and you're not growing from it, then guess what? It's going to have to happen again, because the whole point is for you to grow. So if you don't, if you don't like the suffering you're in, I suggest that you do everything in your power to grow through it. Because if you don't, one thing I can guarantee you is it's going to come back and it's going to look very similar and it's going to feel very similar. And then you'll make it through that. See, that's what I was doing for 20 years as an alcoholic. I wasn't looking to grow. I wasn't looking to expand. I wasn't looking to learn and become a better version of myself through my suffering. So therefore, I just went through suffering after suffering after suffering after suffering. And it intensified and intensified and intensified. Why? Because if you're suffering a little and you don't choose to awaken, then the suffering has to increase. You're not going to, the universe isn't stupid. It's not like, oh, well, we gave him 10 pounds of suffering and he didn't choose to awaken, so let's give him 10 pounds again. No, it goes, well, if 10 pounds of suffering didn't make him open, let's give him 15 pounds of suffering. Maybe that will force him to look at things a different way. Oh, no. Okay. Well, let's give them 20 pounds of suffering because the 15 pounds didn't work. They're not going to go, oh, well, the 15 pounds didn't work. Let's give them 5 pounds. Huh? What sense does that make? No, it's going to increase in intensity until you learn, because that's what you're here for. You're here to expand and to grow and to learn. So whatever needs to happen for that is going to happen. Okay, so when we understand this broader perspective, we can use the suffering to grow and expand. And that's half of it, right? And then the other half is the joy and the bliss and the peace. It's going, wow, I chose to be here. So I chose to go through this to grow. Okay, well, let's grow then. And then you make it through that difficult time and you grow. And then you still have a whole aspect of life left. So that's the joy of it, right? That's the expression of it. That's the manifestation of your growth. As you grow and you become more of yourself and more loving and more joyful, because we're not here to shrink, right? Or to become more hateful, or to lower our vibration. We're here to raise our vibration higher, more loving. So as we become more of ourselves and more loving, we have more love to share. We have more experiences to take in. We experience more gratitude. So we have more things to be grateful for that comes into our existence. And it's like, oh, and all these experiences that we get to have. And, like, we're in an experiential existence world. So go experience it. It's fun. So that's the other part. This looking at our suffering from a broader perspective so we can use it to grow, but also when we're not suffering, really embracing the joy and the experiential nature of this planet that we're on and all the beauty and amazing things that it holds. Like I said, like amazing experiences like travel and doing all those types of experiences and stuff like that, and adventure stuff, like, and I like a lot of that stuff, but not everybody does. So it's whatever brings you joy. Those aren't the only forms of joy. There's also joy coming from our family and our friends and our siblings and our children and our spouses and our people. It's what an amazing way to experience life and to make the most of it, but to share it with those you love. I mean, I think that's even more important than the experiences. I mean, I like the experiences, so so I'm like, wow. But I mean, they pale in comparison to the love that we feel for those people that we love. And the ability for us to ease suffering in others, like what and help others. What a joy, what a blessing that is. So I think that's it. So live it like you chose it, man. Live it like you chose it, because you did. I think that's going to do it. All right. Peace, everybody. Take care and enjoy this life you chose.